Welcome back to Fairy Tail Anime Review, episode number 20. This is reviewing the 288th episode of the series, To the God-Forsaken Land. This episode is adapted from chapters 446 to 448. Pick up where last week's episode left off, with Makara reunited with pretty much Team Natsu and Mist. And they go to, and of course their escape is blocked, and of course they're about to leave, and their escape is blocked by one of the 12 Zegara. He's blocked by the Desert King, and he's about to swallow him. Of course, everybody's shocked about because he thinks that they're still on the same power level that they were when he last saw him a year prior. Of course, all of a sudden they're trying to get away via a magic vehicle. Of course, he doesn't know that Carla can turn into a human. Yeah, he doesn't know that. Yeah, as for where in the world that they got this magic vehicle, never explained. It just randomly there, like, oh, we got a magic vehicle. Everybody hop in. Yeah, and like usual, for some reason, this thing is powered by magic instead of, using gasoline. Yep. And of course, they lose magic, about to be consumed. The first time with this giant thing, it looks very similar to that of Gar's sand burial thing. And of course, Natsu just burns up, and of course, Makarov is shocked the fact that Natsu's gotten stronger in the past year. And of course, everybody gets a chance to show off their moves. Of course, prior to them being consumed, Lucy and Gray decide to show off their moves, and he's shocked that the increase of power these two have had. Of course, Lucy has puts on the Sagittarius outfit, which a little more covering, and she's able to fire a bow and arrow. Gray, of course, can do the whole black thing on and off anytime he wants to. Yeah, that was actually explained in the last arc, and apparently his ice magic's gotten really stronger. So they battle him, and then of course they lose, and of course they go to the sand trap again, and of course Makara goes giant size because he's mad because they're attacking his children. Yeah, he treats the members of his own kids. And he goes giant size. This is one of his many abilities he could do. Well, because he's naturally short, even though that both his son and his grandson are way taller than he is. And speaking of his grandson, I'll get to him in a minute. Yeah, then the Desert King uses a sand tidal wave, about to consume them, and then all of a sudden a bolt lightning comes out of nowhere. Who is this bolt lightning from? Why, Makarov's grandson, Laxus. And of course, everybody's on board now. And here's something really interesting though, because Natsu he smells Levi, he smells Ganjo, and also we hear the Strauss sibling just happily on board, and Juvia is on board too. This, of course, is the Christine. This is the airship belonging to the Blue Pegasus Guild. Heck, one of their top members of the Blue Pegasus Guild is actually on board the ship. Yeah. So they transport on top of the thing. Of course, they also had, they mentioned they were going to be up with Angel, but yeah, they had to explain to her later that they actually got another lift back home. So yeah, they get back on board, and of course, he's about to be killed by, Desert King's about to be killed by Laxus, and he's saved by August. Who this guy is, it's actually quite silly. Who this guy really is. They don't explain who this guy is until much later. I'm not going to reveal who he is, but yeah, who this guy really is and who he's related to, it's one of the most bizarre things I've seen for this series. Yep. They all get back home. Apparently, the Fairy Tail Guild is back. Now, the guild itself is already back running, but the guild building, that is completely finished. Apparently, they finished it while they were away. So, yeah. They get back there. Of course, they're all celebrating. Of course, Makarov tells them what's going on. And, of course, Makarov, prior to all this, tells them that Zeref was the actual emperor when this whole episode started. Yeah, and, of course, he tells everybody about it. Doesn't want to keep it a secret. And of course, he says that just said to every strong before, which nothing unusual. And Team Natsu agrees that this is something that they need to do. And then Makarov basically resumes the position as the guild master, which they keep confusing. It might be presuming his tenure as the 6th or the 8th. And he's like, and there's a recurring joke in the franchise where I keep hoping I'm going to retire, and he hears some crazy stuff the Team Natsu does when he wrecks a town. Like, I'll never retire with all this stuff. If Natsu loves the guild so much, why don't he become guild master? Probably he could probably get it as soon as he comes back from his Century Quest he's on. Which, by the way, it's about 20 chapters in. I need to review it sometime in the future. Yeah. And then Makarov gets on stage, which explains the whole Luminar thing. And all of a sudden, the first Master Mavis shows up, and she sort of explains it. And then the episode ends with leading into next week's episode, which explains what happened with Mavis and Zeref after the end of Fairy Tail Zero. Yep. Fairy Tail Zero, in case you don't know, that is the prequel season to the series. Setting the series, that particular story is set like, I think it's like 120 years before the events of the series. Yeah, when it's basically dealing with the founding of Fairy Tail, like Mavis and a few other people, one of whom actually since passed away. Yeah, one of whom has since passed away. Actually, yeah, one of whom has since passed away. And the other ones basically are still pretty much around, except for Master Hades. He's since been killed by Zeref himself. Yeah. So basically, we're going to go back to that. So pretty much this flashback is going to kind of take place after the events of Fairy Tail Zero. I would say probably right after they wrap up the whole monologue of what happened to all the characters at the end of this and that particular story. And this basically is going to explain Zeref, the story of Zeref and Mavis, their love story. Yep, these two had a thing for each other. I mean, why the heck not? Mavis is a beautiful woman, and is it just me, or is that she's really tall? And of course, Urs is confused, like, this is protection or this is actually her. That is probably not going to be explained for another episode too, but this was a fantastic episode. But I can't wait to see the one particular scene now. I know the scene happens in the manga, and I'm sure they're going to adapt it. It's a scene where Brandish ends up in Lucy's apartment. Yeah, the recurring gag with that is that everybody gets in Lucy's apartment. As for how that is, Mary J gets everybody the key to her apartment. And Brandish somehow gets in her apartment and ends up in her bathtub. Yeah, I personally can't wait to see that particular scene adapted. Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. Brandish. A woman who showed up for 2 episodes. Yeah, she's going to come back. Yeah. So far, the adaptation of this particular season of this arc is really good so far. Really enjoying it. As far as I can tell right now, there's like less than like 100 chapters left. Yeah, with this episode, they had last week's episode led up with 445. This one up to 448. Basically, there's about 97 chapters left to adapt. And from what I know, it's not long now. I think it's like good 20, not 20, more like, I think it's like 39 more episodes left to go, but I think there'll still be plenty enough just to cover the remainder of this arc. Maybe when they end this series, they might actually start doing the Fairy Tail Century Quest arc. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that because Century Quest picks up like right where the series left off, so I wouldn't be surprised if they started doing that, and I don't know if Edgar really wants the adaptation of that, plus Eden Zero. Eden Zero, as the most recent chapter, is only at the chapter 26 right now. Still not enough yet to announce an adaptation of the series. I mean, if there was, it probably would do like 1 chapter a week, give or take, because it's a weekly manga. Though Fairy Tail Century Quest is a series that comes every 2 weeks. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review of Black Clover, the newest chapter of 7 Deadly Sins, a Comic Corner, and maybe a review of Book 10 of Overlord. If I get it done, of course, okay? But see you next review. Bye.